Hello, everybody. Thank you for zooming into this Zoom. We're going to have a really snappy and tight chat because we've apparently got to finish in 20 minutes at 3:45 in order to get back into the wrapping up session before the entertainment starts at 4. So we're here to talk about adapting work, as you all know. And we've got Roger from the Bureau of Silly Ideas who's going to kick off with his waving. I'm not sure why he's waving. Can you unmute yourself, Roger? We're going to start off with three people, I think, doing short presentations. And then hopefully that will leave us with a little bit of time to chat. So please, if you're presenting, limit yourself to 3 minutes and no more than that. Okay, Roger, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to rush through it in a little bit more than 3 minutes, little bit less than 3 minutes, hopefully, because I'm presenting in the thing that's after this as a work. I'll be changing into a shirt and tie to become another person that's sort of got the same name as me, that runs a department of the UN. And what we've been really, like, I was listening to the whole thing throughout the day on and off, and what's impacted is we have a lot of shared stories and our personal experience of things we took out and tried to do that we could. I was furloughed, so I didn't actually do anything myself, but we've got things like a giant foot that drives along the street with a big PA in it, and we took that around with cans clapping for the clapathon for everyone. And then we've got another piece which is radio controlled wheelie bins, which have been roaming the streets all over the world for about 20 years. And the bins ordinarily are mobbed, they're a magnet, they're a ridiculous sensation in their own right. Anywhere you go, any weather, any place, any drunken state of community, unless there's lockdown and a pandemic going on. For the first time ever, we found that radio-controlled wheelie bins were unloved. And that was a very, very strange dynamic that we're still learning to live with. So that was that sort of our immediate experiences of trying to do work that we knew that we had in our portfolio and just taking that out and stuff. Other things that we've got have been involved, they are much more convoluted and involve periods of long engagement and stuff where we'd normally be out face-to-face knocking on community doors. And what we've started to do instead is to use post and to engage people by posting things out and then doing workshops through YouTube that we then hope will lead to narratives where we can be together again, but in a socially distanced way. And we've properly morphed existing programs and just looked at how those characters and how that organization, the fictitious organization that forms the work, would behave in this pandemic. And we're just trying to emulate that, and we're starting to get interest in that. I'm going to skip out now because I'm double booked over there, but I'm going to keep the volume on here so I can hear what you're talking to. And sorry, I can't be more proactive in joining in. And thanks for having me, Neil.
Fabulous. And thank you for being so short and sticking to the time. Brilliant. We're going to zip on to Adrian. Sorry, Adrian, I'm not sure how to say your surname, so I'm not even going to try. So perhaps you introduce yourself.
It's a very easy name, don't worry. So here we are in Lithuania. I escaped from Barcelona when everything was locked down and everything was forbidden. And the only thing we were allowed was some kind of terrorist act performing in supermarkets, going to the bank or to the pharmacy, where the things were allowed to do. Or instead to do sport, we were doing some kind of intervention in the street. Of course, this not employed any money. We didn't receive till now any help from the government. Only late when we decide to denounce our minister, why he getting money when there is no culture, and why he's still there when there is no anything related to culture. He decide, oh, sorry, maybe my seat is in danger. So he decided to declare that culture is not so bad and maybe we need it. But till then I escaped to Lithuania, where wonderful is all allowed. There is no restriction. Street theater festival is going to happen next week. So, but we still have the possibility to create and to think about what we can do in this kind of pandemic. And we did last months in a manor here in Lithuania for 12 actors and many audience that are coming, some kind of characters that are somehow related in a comic way and in a serious way to what's going on. And we create a wonderful wash hand. Is a character going with a bicycle, is approaching the audience and wash the hand to the people that come into the manor, into this beautiful garden, and ask for a wish. And most of the wishes, of course, is not to buy a Ferrari, but to have again the encounter with the audience. That means social, to end the social distance and to come back to a normal life and no COVID, of course. And another beautiful one was a character that is maintaining the distance, is coming with a meter and put the people away, of course, in a funny way. And I think that what we can do here and in the world is through the street theater, that is something in an open space and is safe, more or less safe, is to create and continue to create and to do wonderful street theater for all audience. And I think that we see in here, but we are going next week to Austria, and then probably we were supposed to go to Berlin, but Berlin forbidden all this kind of acts. So we are going to stay in Austria and going to do some of these acts and some of these performances and some of this provocation, because street theater is a provocation there. And yes, that's all what I have to say. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for what I see in the last hours of what's going on in the world, mostly in England and Scotland. Don't do Brexit. It's not good. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not good for you. It's not good for us. It's not good for the world. You have already the COVID. Don't look for more problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And yeah, I think we would all absolutely agree with you there. I'm going to now hand over to Zoe, who didn't get a chance to do her presentation in the previous session. So Zoe and Alon, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. If it's possible to get the spotlight viewing onto them. Over to you guys.
No, you've disabled the screen sharing. If you can enable our screen sharing, we can share the audio through that.
Okay, Nikki, is that possible to do that?
That should be you now.
Thank you.
Okay, have
Thanks
you got
very
that?
much, and thanks for the time. As I said, if you have headphones, you can put them on and you can switch your camera off and look away, because it's an audio presentation of our work in progress.
Make yourself comfortable, she says. What is comfortable? I look at my chair, then at the window, then at my chair again. I put one leg up, then the other, then both down. I spin the chair the other way, facing away from the outside world, but I'm not satisfied. How am I comfortable? She's staring at me. I find a place which feels easy to be at, for this little while at least, and sit. Silence. We both allow for the echoes to vanish. She is still staring. I try to spot the silence amongst my thoughts, my breath, my voice.
Number 5. This way, please.
I remember this book. Who are you?
Good evening, sir.
How different are we, and how similar?
Where have you arrived from?
Will you do what I do?
And what is the purpose of your visit?
And will you think what I think?
Do you have any documents with you?
How different will my telling be from your doing?
I hand over the plastic folder that I've been clutching in my sweaty hands. It contains 2 passports from 2 countries, as well as a birth certificate and certificate of citizenship from a 3rd country, a few payslips and miscellaneous photocopies.
I find myself lying under a tree on a mountain. It is midday, early summer.
I take a deep breath.
The hot sun is flirting with the pine trees. The birds meander and exchange songs.
I've been refining and rehearsing my explanation the last few days.
I tried to find the spot where a patch
But now
of
that I
sun
hear
will
myself
touch my
talking,
face.
it doesn't sound as convincing as it did in my head.
The sun,
I'm hoping that she is open-minded.
it feels
I'm hoping she can recognize the absurdity of the situation.
soft.
I'm hoping that it being Sunday evening, things will be a bit more relaxed than usual.
Gentle, soothing.
She is expressionless.
I'm breathing in.
Please take a seat.
It is very hot.
She walks away
The
with my
soft
envelope.
breeze touches the tip of my nose.
I watch as it makes its way upstairs behind a tinted glass wall.
I can smell the
The
rain.
contents passed from hand to hand,
It's coming.
from officer to supervisor to manager to another officer, down the stairs, across to the X-ray machine, where the security guard, who happens to be Czech, flicks through my papers and translates their contents.
I'm in a forest. It is very hot and humid. I'm finding it difficult to breathe. Tall trees, large leaves hanging off them, roots climbing on their trunks, creating secret pathways for the night to crawl on. The smell of green, soil, rain, and ginger tea?
I sit on the hard plastic chair, penned
I
in
follow
by
the
a
trail of
small
the smell.
fence with a little gate on
I
hinges.
turn around.
Small flecks of metal coating
A house.
peeling away from the surface.
A woman is standing at the door, smiling and waving me in.
I wait.
She's holding 2 cups of warm, steamy tea. It will rain,
Stand behind the yellow
she
line,
says in English.
he says in Spanish. Do you have your visa?
It is good to have shelter for
Can
a while.
I see your visa? Visa. Shit.
She does not know me yet.
It's a small yellow piece of paper with a stamp on it,
Ginger
which is now
chai.
buried in my luggage,
Estudi.
which has already been checked in. I got it from the embassy 4 days before leaving on this
The
trip.
smell of ginger and rain are creating a curious
It was
blend.
all quite last minute.
We sip.
Where did you stay during your
We
visit?
smile.
This time in English.
The jungle has transformed.
I lie.
The birds have stopped singing. The plants have paused breathing.
Can you give me your booking details?
All the empty spaces have been flooded by the sound of water falling.
Eventually, I hand over a crumpled printout of an online booking form.
I stretch my empty hand out to catch the rain.
He looks at the paper,
Drip,
at me,
drip.
at the paper,
I close my eyes and wait.
and walks off into another room. I watch him through the faded, tinted yellow glass.
I'm sitting on a bench on a beach. My feet are disappearing into the cool
He picks up the
seawater.
phone and dials the number on my fake hotel booking.
I breathe in,
The air is sticky,
deep,
hot.
filling my lungs with the freshness,
The phone
saltiness,
is still ringing.
calmness of the sound of the water.
It is ringing.
I'm holding a piece of paper and a pen.
Or is he just pretending?
I am lying on a hammock,
The bus pulls up at a border control. It's around 11 o'clock at night.
looking at a large property in the
The passenger
countryside.
next to me pushes me and I wake up.
Sunflower
The policeman
fields
boards the
surround
bus
me,
and
and
says
a dog
something
is
I
running
cannot
towards me.
understand. Everyone takes out their passports and passes them down.
Thanks very much for the time. Yeah, as we said, this was a show that was meant to be a live performance and hopefully will be in the future, but that was our work in progress for this festival. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if people can hear me. Yes, I'm assuming you can. So we really are incredibly tight on time. We've got 6 minutes. This is like one of the classic winding up as fast as we can. If anybody's got any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and we will try and get through them as quickly as we can. Chat's open now. And as I said, we have 6 minutes. So got some nice thanks coming in. That was a beautiful piece of work. I mean, it's been great to be seeing 3 more examples. I think that for me, the feature of this symposium so far has been the ideas people have been bringing to the table. The whole notion of adapting work, where we go from here, has got to be central. It's always central to the way that we work, whether we're dealing with the challenges of Brexit or whether we're dealing with the challenges of COVID-19. And I think there's been some really beautiful work shared with us so far. Does anybody have anything they would like to bring into the discussion? I don't want to close down anybody's voice at this point. This is I think this is the last opportunity to contribute to today. Just checking, we're not missing anybody. So we've got a question from Jane Pitt. Is anyone using geolocation for new work? So if you, I think you can unmute yourselves if anybody wants to jump in on that. Nikki, am I right in thinking people can unmute themselves?
Yeah, if people want to even raise their hands, if they want to speak, I can unmute you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see you all. So if anyone wants to raise your hand, if you find that more comfortable than popping into the chat, that's available as well as an option.
I'll just pipe up in the silence. It's only because I'm just I'm starting to use it, and I'm interested in whether anyone else is. I know it's been used for quite a long time, but and I'm trying to think about it in terms of not just as a geolocated thing for an app, but as part of a layered approach to making sound interventions and installations that can maybe have at some point an analog and a digital crossover.
Okay. I mean, it's another contribution. It's a great contribution. Any other thoughts or observations? I mean, there's been an awful lot to absorb. I think, yeah, we've got a hand up from Vince. Vince, do you?
Hi, I'm just wondering, you know, outdoor arts being the kind of stepping stone to get people back into live arts and venues and all that. But as, you know, even for applications just now, they won't be successful or can't be implemented until really October at the very earliest. So we're going to winter. So any thoughts about outdoor work in winter in the UK? Like adapting for that? Especially dance, particularly, because it becomes a very dangerous issue for dance.
Well, I run a dance company and we've done outdoor work every winter for the last few years, including in snow, in rain, in mud, in high wind. So I'm a real believer in the fact that all work is adaptable. Somebody's popped wear layers in the chat. Yeah, I mean, there's basics, you know, how you clothe yourself, but also the nature of the work. So obviously for us, we're looking at stuff that isn't going to be dangerous on a slippery ground. We've performed on ice before, actually, when the location we were performing in suffered from the elements. So I mean, I think it's doable. I think we have to be very careful with dance in particular, not actually to be too precious. We just take out the jumps, we take out the throws, we take out the difficult landings if the surface is difficult. So I think it's doable. I think we just have to think outside the box. Okay. I think have we got anybody else? We've got about 1 more minute. Oh yeah, we've got hand up here.
Yeah, can I just jump in on that? I think it's very easy to forget how used to outdoor art we are as outdoor performers, and actually we do so much stuff and we adapt all the time, as lots of people have been saying, that it's easy to forget how much of that we do and how much expertise and how much knowledge and kind of stuff we've built up over the years. So then, like Vince says, if you're not used to performing outside, it's a whole load of stuff that you suddenly need to think about. And we're kind of experts, a lot of us here, you know, we do it all the time. So do just ask the question, talk to people about how they take their work outside, the things to consider, because we've done it, or lots of people have done it for a long time, and there's a lot of knowledge that we don't think we necessarily know we have. So yeah, we should shout about that expertise. We know how to do work outside. So ask the questions, find someone to have a chat to, email, talk to people who do work outside. Because there's a lot.
I would really encourage on that to use the contacts from this symposium, because we've only got microseconds to answer what could be big questions. So Vince, I'm happy to talk more. Drop me an email. You know, I think there's a huge body of knowledge here today, and particularly when we're chasing time like this, and we've got to now close this room and go back into the final session. So yeah, I would just encourage everybody to network, follow up. This has probably opened lots of thoughts, questions, so get in touch with each other and pick each other's brains, because we are indeed all experts. So the closing session link is in the chat. Sorry that we're now talking 100 miles an hour as we run out of time. Thank you for joining us in this breakout, and see you in the closing session, everybody.